turn-ups. It's been unbelievable.
It's December the 1st, the world premiere of Lord of the Rings, and what better place to celebrate this than Middle-earth. It's an immense occasion for the team at Weta Digital and for New Zealand, really. The Lord of the Rings has been really a whole series of world firsts. Back in 1998 when Peter decided to make the movie, and really the whole challenge of shooting 3 movies back to back had never been done in Hollywood before.
We're in the middle of Miramar, which is kind of an industrial residential neighborhood. So you drive around and you see, little Victorian houses and kind of strange flat houses and stuff like that, and hills around the side that people have been living in for 80 years or whatever, ever since the land kind of rose.
I think at its best, Weta had an attitude of collaboration and cross-pollination of departments that was very healthy. At Weta, you could walk through the creature shop, the mold shop, see things being sculpted and created and drawn and painted and fabricated and molded, and walk through a door and you're into a computer division where some of the finest computer artists in the world are busy at work making the things that couldn't be made next door in the physical shop.
While we had to push the boundaries, we didn't want to take any chances. We need business partners that really understood the challenges that we were going to face and be able to deliver on those challenges. And whenever we pushed the boundaries, we really needed organisations like Alias to really get behind us and work us through some of those challenges.
Maya entered the picture very early on. I was shown several selections of software and I test drove them. And based upon my experience in animation in general and my comparative inexperience in computer animation, I'd only been doing it for 4 years, I just found it to be the most comfortable interface for me.
Our work at Weta on The Lord of the Rings really coincides with our use of Maya. The two grew here. We established a whole 3D pipeline around Maya. As the Maya package evolved, we were able to extend the approaches that we were taking and push the envelope in terms of the way we were doing things.
Come, Master! Come to Smeagol.
We really had exponential growth during the course of the movie. For Fellowship of the Ring, we needed to deliver around 500 shots. For the Two Towers, it was closer to 900. And for Return of the King, we've delivered close to 1,500 shots, each one of them more challenging than the last.
I think in total we did 42 hero creatures for the trilogy. So there's a huge range of work that we did there. Frequently been very happy that Maya has been available because I'm not sure how we would have done this show without it. It's open with Mel and the API. It's immensely open, so it immediately lends itself to building a whole 3D pipeline around it. That was huge for us. Peter, he'll block it out and we'll look at previs and there'll be storyboards, but he likes to work very fluidly, and we know that there's no point in building a creature to the kind of level that you think he may want to work to. You've got to build it to the ultimate level that he could possibly ever want to go. So we've got to make these creatures Peter-proof in a way. The thing with the Mamakill is, they are physically impossible creatures. I don't think, they're much larger than any of the largest dinosaurs that ever lived. You've got to play off that whole thing of making a creature that big look believable, but also have it in a physically based sense, so that as each giant foot comes down and slams into the ground, the muscles not only flex, but also there's a bit of a jiggle. And we built all that into our creature pipeline so that the animators didn't have to worry about that stuff at all. That stuff was all procedurally built in, and that jiggle was just activated by the footfall and went all the way through to the muscle model. It pays off. It's the kind of thing that you don't notice particularly when you're watching the film, but if it wasn't there, that sense of reality would be diminished as a result.
Yeah, Shelob was a big animation hurdle. We, were able to create this character in Maya. This spider is, since it's as big as a Humvee, it needs to have, you know, more weight. And we were able to put in a number of very nice animation controls to give its abdomen a lot of sag and jiggle and bounce and stretch and squash.
Sheila was modelled in Maya, Sheila was rigged in Maya. All the animation for Sheila was done in Maya. Our whole 3D pipeline is Maya based.
The challenge for me was right at the end of the film, I had to animate the Witch King dying. And his death is very much, it was, Peter described it as kind of like a submarine imploding. He wanted him to kind of be reacting to something and then kind of and start compressing in on himself. And our pipeline hadn't really been set up to allow for that type of animation to happen. Like, for example, the Witch King's hand, he's going and shaking like this. So I took the animation curves for his arms, and I just took the insert key thing in the graph editor and just went blah, 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 blah. I just made a really, really messy curve. And so it's like that. And then what I did was I wanted to start making changes to it so I could bring the hand up and spend a lot of time really crafting this motion to make sure it did exactly what I wanted, but I wanted to keep all the jitteriness. So using Mel, I was able to make a really quick tool that allowed me to take an animation curve that's got a lot of high frequency data, add another animation curve to it, and then modify both of those curves independently.
The precious will be ours.
He means to murder us!
Never!
I'm not sending him away. Come, Smeagol.
One of the things I'm most proud of with Lord of the Rings and Gollum in particular is, it's actually a shot I didn't work on. I think Stephen Hornby animated this shot, and it's in Return of the King. Gollum's asleep, and he's laying down, he's hardly moving at all, but you could see struggle going on inside of his face, and you can see just this anguish and all this stuff happening. And it's one of the hardest things in the world to animate, is somebody not moving and get them to seem real and bring across emotion.
It is time.
Cloth and hair are key components of making a believable digital double. Before, I think, in films where we've got the shot of Legolas leaping onto the horse in film 2, where you know, he switches to a digital double, full frame in the middle of that shot, and people to this day ask me how the guy got up on top of the horse. Of course, that brought us into that whole world of pain on film 3, where we had the whole scene with Legolas on the Mamakill, which was built on the success of that one shot in film 2, and pushing the hair and cloth right through that sequence as well was difficult, but you know, it works. People love that stuff.
Maya's a huge brush in the toolkit. It practically is the toolkit. I guess its versatility is the thing that is most impressive to me, because it allows people with a lot of different sets of skills and with different sensibilities to use it with equal finesse.
We couldn't have really done Lord of the Rings without it. Everything we do, we use Maya as just a glue for everything.
I think it's fair to say that we've pushed Maya to its very limits. We've exploited those limits, we've explored the limits, and we've gone beyond them. We literally had to push beyond those limits to deliver Peter's vision. And with the help of the team at Alias and Kevin and his custom development team, we're able to take it beyond its boundaries and further on. It doesn't end here. The future for us and our next project is King Kong. Well, that'll just be bigger and better again. We'll push the boundaries, we'll do things that have never been done before in the motion picture industry, and for that we'll rely on the team at Alias.